Good day, you're welcome to today's lesson. In this lesson, we'll be talking about substring matching selector. Substring matching selector. I am Asante Patrick Model, and I will be your facilitator in this lesson. Let's begin. So, our topic is substring matching. No, let me get rid of this guy. Okay, substring. Let's go. Matching. Then selector. Okay. Substring matching selector. Let me clean this guy so that we'll have something better. Substring matching selector. That's fine. So this will be our topic for today. No. Topic for today. Substring matching selector. What is a substring? What is matching? We know what a selector is already. Sub means something below something else. The matching means they match. That's basically what we'll be doing here. So we'll be having a string, then we'll take something out of the string and use it. Okay. So what is a string in the first place? When you come to the tech world, especially programming or JavaScript or CSS or whatever language that you are learning, when you hear of a string is just a sequence of characters that makes meaning, tangible meaning, or that represents something. So for instance, in our previous videos, if I pass an ID like row is what? A string. The keyword ID itself is also what? A string, and they represent something sensible and meaningful. Okay, something sensible and meaningful. So that's what a string is. Let me repeat it again. A string is just a sequence of characters. Let me be specific. A sequence of text characters. Okay. So let's take example. Row is a string. If I write prof, it is a string. If I write amma, it is a string because it contains what? Text or characters. They are sequences of characters. Okay. If let's say I write amma underscore yao, these are all what? Strings. They are all strings. Okay, so let's come to the understanding of what we call a substring. So for instance, let's say if I write prof, let me clean this. If I write prof row, a substring is basically, let's say, a subset of the main thing. Okay, so if we take this thing as our universal set, anything that we take out of this universal set becomes something sub to the universal set. You get it? So if this is what? Our string, anything we take out of this string will become what? Our substring. So for instance, we can get ROL from the above string. So ROL becomes what? A sub what? String. A substring. I hope you are getting it. A substring. Okay. If I take P for instance, if I take P, okay, let's say PRO. PRO is what? A substring of the above. Is that also a substring. Let me see if I can write it, a substring of the above. If I take ROL, it is a substring of what? Prof row. I hope you are getting it. So this is basically what a substring means. Now the word matching, in our previous days while we were in school, while you were beginning education, basic 1 or stage 1, you were asked to match certain things. So let's say we have animals at one side, then you have the names of the animals at the other side, then you will be asked to match the animals to their names. You get it? You just have to draw a line to ensure that the animal is matched or is connected to its name appropriately. That's what we will have here. So that's the basic explanation I can give for what matching. Now, how is this thing useful in what we are learning? Selectors. Why is it useful here? Okay, let's see. Now we are inside of our HTML. Okay, HTML. You should know that whatever we are doing here, you have to apply it inside of your HTML before you can access it inside of your CSS. So inside of our HTML, let's say I still have H1. Okay, I'm not saying H1 is the only element you can apply styles to. No. Okay, let me change this. Let's say I have OL, my OL element. Then let's say I give it a class, and I equate this class to, first of all, let me say RO, which it doesn't make sense though, but for the sake of understanding, we will just use it like that. Okay, so don't you forget this. Then I'll close my OL element. So this is our first what element that we are having. Okay, then let's say I have my LI element. I pass a class to it, and I would want to apply a row in this case here, then I'll have to come here and close my LI element appropriately. Let's go back. Let's say I have my table element. Let me use the row element. Let's say I pass a class to this. Okay, and this class, I give it the value prof row. Okay, prof row. Then I'll have to close this. Then my tr element, I'll close it. Don't you forget to bring your backslash symbol. Okay, now this is what we'll be using. Let me bring them to view so that you remember them all. Now we have OL element with the class row, RO. We have L1 element, LI element with the class role. We have the TR element with the class prof role. Okay, now what do we mean by substring selector or substring matching selector? Okay, let's move on for a better understanding. That's why we are here. Is that also? So now we are inside of our CSS file. In CSS, how do I access this? We have length of attribute selectors. We wouldn't be using that one here. So let's see, I have my elements name. In this case, we have OL element, we have LI element, we have TR element. So if I say OL, maybe I've forgotten the exact name that OL contains as a class. You get it? So because I want to select a class which is an attribute, I will need a square bracket, then write what? A class. Okay, a class. Then I will equate this class to, maybe I've forgotten the name of the class. I've forgotten the name of the class. So how do I do this? But I remember that this class begins with R, 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 okay, R. So let me put this. It begins with R, but I don't know. It begins with R. So how do I specify that this class I'm talking of begins with R? In that case, I will need this guy here. Let me write it in well, because if we don't get it well, we might harm ourselves on the way. So the class, I remember it begins with what? R. So before that, then my value will come. Then afterwards, I would be able to pass my declaration. Okay, I will be able to pass my declaration. Don't you forget that because I've specified OL, and I say that the OL has a class which begins with the character R, whatever I pass as a declaration here will be applied to OL respectively. Whatever I pass as a declaration will be applied to what? OL respectively. Let's move on. You shouldn't forget that R is not found. Okay, let's hold on for that before. Let's hold up for that. Okay. Now, if I come here and let's say I remember I have one class for my Li element. My Li element. It has a class which is what? An attribute. So square bracket is imperative here. It was what? A class. Let me close this. It was a class. And in this case it is what? Okay, let me clean this equal to sign first. Okay, I have a class. This class, I remember it ends with the letter L. I don't remember the exact class, I don't know, so it ends with the letter L. So in that case, how do I specify that this class ends with the letter L? And it is that L that I need in order to be able to apply my style or the property that I want to change or apply to this Li element. In that case, I will need the dollar sign. Nice one. Before my equal to sign. Okay, then I will have to pass in the letter I think my class ends with. Then my declaration follows. Don't you forget, it is due to space. That's why our declaration always comes down. Okay, that's why our declaration always comes down. So that's it. So I remember that the class ends with what? L. Then also the class ends with L. And to specify that I'm talking about a class that ends with L, I will use the dollar sign. Okay, I will use the dollar sign. So that's it. Let's say we are continuing with our lesson. We have a TR element, okay? We have a TR element. TR element. Then also, that's fine. This TR element contains a class attribute. So let me write class. But the class does not, it does contain something. I remember RO, but I don't remember whether it was at the beginning whether RO was at the beginning or it was at the end of this class. All I remember is RO. Do you get it? So how do I declare or say that my RO is part of a class for TR, which I've forgotten the exact name? How do I do that? I will use the almighty universal selector that you know already. So my star will tell my CSS that, oh, we have a class that constitutes or contains whatever value that we are coming to pass. In this case, we are saying it contains what? RO. Then we'll close it nicely. Sorry. We are using square brackets, so let me bring square brackets, then our declaration follows. So we did the same mistake over here. Let me clean this guy. So we are talking about square bracket. We should end it with square bracket. Let's go up and see. Okay, so here we did the right thing. Okay, so let's go back to our work. We are saying that we have a TR element, which we are right? You have a TR element. The TR element contains class, which is also right. This class contains RO, which we do remember, okay? But we don't remember whether the RO is at the beginning or at the end of what? Our class. Do you get it? So in that case, but we still want to apply what? Certain styles to our TR element. In that case, we will have to use the star what? Symbol, the star symbol to specify that our TR class contains certain character like RO, but we don't remember the exact position. Do you get it? We don't remember the exact position. So that's how we go about this. Please, substring selector is very, very, very important. And you need to understand this thing very well. Okay, let's say, okay, so that will be that for now. Let's reserve it for the next video so that we won't compound anything here and make our work too long. Okay, so